As the city keeps growing, something continues to feel off. It looks alive, it feels real, but it doesn't actually function like a real city should. There's no infrastructure, no way to move through it as it expands. So if this city is going to continue to thrive, it needs something beneath the surface. And that means it's time to dig. Now that each station is dug out, it's time to carve out each tunnel, and the goal is for each station to be able to take you to any of the 4 tunnels so it's all connected. So I've gone and set up markers all throughout the city to guide me. So let's dig. Hello, welcome to Lapis. This is my French architectural city, and welcome to 1.21.11. Yes, I finally made the switch. I'd been on 1.21.9 since I started this channel, but I now have all my mods transferred, so every upload will be on the latest version until things change. But that also means I have a spear now, which is pretty cool, but I don't think it'll replace my bow as my go-to choice. But I just spent the last 8 hours digging these tunnels, and oh my goodness was that brutal. Especially when you hit points that are submerged in water, it just makes it 10 times worse. However though, now we have a system of tunnels connecting all 4 metro stations, which we'll set up later on because there's a plot of buildings unfinished from last episode, and I don't know about you, but I need a break from digging, so let's build. I went for a sort of different style than usual for this build. I'm trying to create some contrast between the builds of the city, so everything doesn't look too similar, causing it all to blend together and look bland. But I'm pretty satisfied with this one. It's supposed to be like a metro ticket center. I haven't built an interior yet, but that's the whole idea behind it. The color palette is pretty experimental once again. It's a mix of brick, birch, terracotta, and mud. And I also added more electrical systems to it in between the buildings. Maybe it's like an air conditioner or something. I also built a tower on this one, looking out over the river. I think it definitely differentiates from the similar style I've been using for most of these buildings. But this is only part 1 of the build because I want to create a bridge to the other side of the river, as well as set up the beginnings of expansion for the future, because I want to eventually expand across this river as we continue to advance this city. However, let's finish this build because we still have an entire underground metro system to construct this video. This whole structure I'm about to set up is loosely inspired by Line 6 of the Paris Metro. It's basically an above ground train that goes right over a bridge stretching across a river with gorgeous views of Paris. However, building structures like these are very hit or miss, so this will either be a landmark build or a total eyesore, and that's up for your interpretation. In the meantime, sit back, relax, and enjoy the building. Okay, this is definitely a more forward-thinking build. I'm picturing tons of buildings on each side of the river with this train going right through them. I'm also pretty sure this is an accurate train. I know they have the cyan and white colorway on some. This is also different from the train station train. That one has more of a shape to the front. This one's more flat. I'm honestly thinking about adding more cars to it in the future when I actually expand past the river. I was a little nervous building a diagonal towards the back there, but it made it look so much better, which is great. This whole time building this, I was pretty nervous I was putting all the time in for nothing because I really thought I wasn't gonna like it. But the train saves the whole thing, and it'll make so much more sense once I really urbanize this place. And for some reason, I really wanted to build a lifted train like this. I was originally only gonna build the building, but I felt that it wasn't enough, especially after coming off of an opera house build like that, which was my favorite episode so far. I'm surprised it didn't do as well as the last one, but oh well. The support recently has been amazing, so thank you for that. But this expansion will really open up a lot of doors for this city. As I said, the land in this side is very workable, so expect great things here. In the meantime though, before we set up the underground metro, we have to go on a little bit of a journey. I've been neglecting gathering the more distant wood types, and I've been spending a little too long at the iron farm, so I think we'll go out and hit the mines for a change. We need lots of rails if we want to set up this metro system, so let's venture out. We're decently stacked up here. This will definitely save me some time, which is nice. Also, this is my headquarters right here. It's very messy, and I'm yet to set up a chest system in this city. I was thinking so many of you mentioned I should include catacombs into the metro system, and I thought that was a great idea. So I think we'll also set up some sort of storage down there, so eventually I can start living here. Right now, I kind of just sleep, build, get materials, sleep some more, build, and it's just an endless cycle, really. But for now, I want to build the stations for the underground metro, which will bring us one step closer to a fully functional city, so let's get to work. As I build this, I want to let you guys know I've turned all the buildings in this city into schematics and uploaded them to my Patreon, which I just set up. So if you do like my style and want to build any of my buildings in your own world, definitely check that out in the description. It would be very supportive and I'd be very thankful. I also want to thank you all for the recent support in general. It seems you guys are really liking the city and I'm glad. You've all provided so many good details and ideas, so thank you for that. But back to the metro, I'm just about finishing up the first station here, and I'm including a train in each of the bigger ones for an extra added detail. I really liked that one I built earlier, so I kept the same style, plus the reference photo I followed was the same, but I want to take you through it and give you a closer look before I build the 3 other stations. I went for a faded white wall in this section, which I thought was a questionable choice, but I think it looks like a rundown vibe almost, which is cool. The paintings and signs are meant to represent advertisements. I know in New York City subways there's a lot of advertisements on the walls, so that's where I got that idea from. And I also added some graffitis as another touch, with some piping and wiring running along the roof. I figured I'd build 2 bigger stations with a train and 2 smaller ones just for the mine carts. But anyways, let's build the other 3 stations now, so we start getting this metro up and running. and we are done with the other stations. Here's the other one with the train. I went for a different walling design in each of them, so this one's got chiseled, tough, mossy, and regular stone bricks, and some cracked ones as well. The design besides that is pretty similar to the last, with the advertisements and graffiti. I personally like this one the most, but let me know what you guys think as we go through the rest. Moving on to the smaller ones, we have Metro East, which is a calm station, not too much going on down here. This one's a little more run down with the moss, but I love the way it contrasts with the graffiti, so I'm pretty satisfied overall. Now to the last station, once again, a smaller station. However, out of the smaller ones, this one's gotta be my favorite. The colors pop against the more flattened grayish wall, which looks great. However, this completes the stations, but before we set up this metro, we have to also build the tunnel walls. But firstly, now that I have all this extra stone from the tunnels, I want to save myself some time and smelt it all into smooth stone and stone bricks and any other type of stone for when I design these tunnels, and my auto smelter is in Strudsville, so on we go. And I'm back with most of the materials we'll need for these walls, as these will be the most time consuming of these tunnels. I was really not anticipating the size of this project when I first started it, but oh well, we're in the home stretch now. Anyways, it's time for a major lock-in, and I think we'll start with the flooring and the lighting. So the goal for this system is to be fully functional with stops at each of the stations that will be controllable through redstone. I plan on also including little details all throughout these tunnels, similar to the stations. But the cool thing about this system is that even though I don't actually need a metro system thanks to elytras, it gives the city a more realistic feel and brings function and detail to places people wouldn't really expect, which is what I aim for when I build big projects like these. It also acts as a whole other layer to the city, similar to how the sewers under Strudsville do. Anyways, let's finally finish building this metro, so cue the music. And finally, we have a fully functional metro system that'll take me all throughout Lapis, but let me give you a tour of it here. These levers in every station activate the rails, which will either stop me or send me off. Let's catch a ride though so you can get a real feel for it. We just passed one of the two turning levers which activate a rail, turning it either direction. The whole system works pretty efficiently, as long as there aren't tons of minecarts on the track at once obviously, but it's really just a few stop and go mechanisms. For the detailing, I didn't go too crazy down here because these were some long tunnels. I tried my best. I made pipes with the lightning rods like I usually do, and some redstone around to look like electrical systems, and I also included a short section where the lights flicker, powered by observers with tripwire hooks. I was originally going to make all the lights like that, but it was very time consuming and the noise was getting completely unbearable, but I like it. It allows for some differentiation from the other tunnels, which is always a good thing, especially in Minecraft. But that about does it for this metro system and station so far. Eventually I will work on expanding this to the future regions of this city, but for now I think it's perfect and an amazing suggestion by one of you. However, on the topic of suggestions, I want to build another one of your suggestions, which are hidden catacombs within the metro. I love this idea. I think it's a perfect touch for this French style city, and I think I'll use it as my storage. So let's build. They're not too crazy, I just wanted to include them as a little hidden detail that'll be repurposed as a storage for me, and I could have used regular skeleton skulls, but those would have been such a hassle to gather, more than the wither skulls, and that's saying something, especially in hardcore. Again, thank you guys for this suggestion, it really made perfect sense, and while they're not tunnels, they're a nice little hidden hobbit hole. But moving on from this, Now I want to introduce the quick segment of the video where I thank some of you supporters and put you on the Opera House wall. Firstly, I want to thank Strofo TV for the $10. Thank you so much. I'm glad you like my content enough where you feel generous enough to donate. That really means a lot to me, and I promise to keep pushing out what I think is quality content to you guys. The next name is Domitrix, who is the one who suggested this video idea basically, so thank you so much. The metro system was a great touch. You have a good eye, so thank you. And lastly, the other 3 names I added this video all suggested the catacombs, so thank you guys for that. That really helps me because that was a really unique idea. But if any of you want to become one with the opera board, just keep commenting suggestions. I'm already looking at some to include for next video, and it really helps a ton, both with engagement and for adding things to these builds, so thank you so much. Before we end this episode, I want to begin setting up the expansion for next video so I can save some time and not have to wake up at 3 in the morning next week. And I'm thinking we can create a dense urban area across the river following the similar style to the builds all throughout the city. So let's plot. But yeah, that's all I'm gonna do today extension-wise. I'll save the streets and details for next episode. I plan on making this side more realistic as well. I know I can make bigger and better buildings now that I've gotten a feel for the style. I have a lot planned for this city, that's for sure. But for now, I want to do a final cinematic showing off the city to get all of you up to speed on how expansion has been looking these past couple episodes. So roll that. But anyways, thank you guys so much if you stayed this far, and I do enjoy coffee. I practically rely on it to get these videos out to you guys, so if you want to support me, I have my buy me a coffee in the description, and I also have all the schematics for my buildings on my Patreon, so feel free to visit that as well. But that's gonna do it for this episode. Thank you to everyone for your suggestions every video. Please keep them coming. They help with engagement, and they're also helpful for creating these episodes. I haven't decided what to build for next episode, so I definitely will be using one of them too. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and bye.